Hey travelers, Bombay. I'm going to try to be as concise as possible and not get distracted, but when I'm connecting dots, it's hard not to get distracted. So just bear with me, and if you really care, get a notebook and just jot down keywords, and then you can look these keywords up, and it's all, everything I'm going to say, for my protection and yours, it's all open source information. So when you put these keywords in, you'll be able to find detailed information on the topics I'm going to just briefly mention so that I can connect the dots. The Epstein files is the most important topic. Sorry, this tea really does something to me. Is the most important topic. And everything else, whether it's Iran, Venezuela, Greenland, all these things, just bear with me. "20 seconds. Analogy. Have you ever seen the Terminator series, or are you just afraid of where AI is going, or the techno oligarchs like Palantir and Elon Musk, the things they're saying publicly today, now? If this disturbs you or you're concerned a little bit, do you remember in the Terminator series that I don't remember what movie it was, maybe Terminator Salvation, but they found John Connor, the prophesied one, or the Sarah Connor's son, that the whole series is about protecting. He finds this point, I think it's at the base of the neck or something like that, which surprisingly works for human beings also. You hit this point at the base of the neck, everything shuts down. And once they found this point, they were able to fight these unstoppable killing machines. That's as far as I want to take the analogy. You get the picture. The Epstein files is this secret point. This is that one point. And you can punch a Terminator all day. You can punch a robot all day. You can exhaust yourself, break your knuckles, break your wrists, as long as you want to, but they're not going to shut down until you hit this one point. The Epstein files are that point. The Epstein files will bring down the United States of America, Israel, and the United Kingdom. It'll bring down a lot of other powerful people, influential people, but these are the empires, the kingdoms that will fall when the Epstein files are unredacted and they're released. Okay, I'm going to catch you. I'm going to hook you real quick with an intelligence release. Back in 2012, 2011, 2012, there was an intelligence directive that was released not only to government agencies in the intelligence community, but also to contractors under contract with think tanks, and sharing information and releasing that were focused, that said, focus. There was a map, and you had the Americas, and it was North America, Central and South America. You had Europe, you had Africa, you had Asia, and I can't remember if Asia was divided as in like Arab immigrants, like Asia Minor, and also the Pacific Asia, or if it was all one. I can't remember if those two were separated. And I can't even remember what they called them. They all had little acronyms, which basically translated to like Asian. I'm just gonna throw words out there so you get the picture. Like the Asian Union or European Union, you had like Asian immigrants, and then you had like the African whatever, and you had the American whatever. But I can rewind, because this wasn't the first time. This wasn't some big reveal where I saw this map and I was like, huh, what's this? No, I can rewind to maybe 2007, 2008, maybe even 2009, I can't remember, but the conspiracy circles, conspiracy theory circles back in the day, they had already figured this out. And I can't remember what year it was when they were trying to make the railroad or a transportation railway system that ran from like Mexico to Canada, and everybody freaked out. And I can't remember what they called that. It was like the acronym, but this has been in the works for a long time. And if you remember, some of us do, Bush Sr. talking about there's a big idea, or a new idea, and it's a big idea, a new world order. Well, I think a day or two ago, the Canadian Prime Minister, I think, or maybe it was some guy at Davos, where all the world leaders and most wealthy people in the world meet together to discuss the directive, the way forward globally. But somebody mentioned the New World Order several times in their speech. If we zoom out, if we don't get caught up in little things, and they're big things for the people there, but if we don't get caught up in the distractions, if we zoom out and we take these models, because the whole goal, the directive, the intelligence directive, where all the think tanks and agencies are directed towards, is figuring out how to control the different regions of the world. So when I say the Epstein files is the weak point in the killing machine, what I am not saying is that Russia, China, Iran, I'm not saying that these other nations and power groups are going to be better leaders, they're going to be better governments. I'm not saying communism trumps capitalism. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to get across is the power groups right now, and they've had for decades, a stranglehold on the world economy through the central banking systems. Venezuela doesn't have a central banking system yet. And it's interesting because all the Middle Eastern countries that Israel got America to go and fight, they didn't have central banking systems back then either. There was a whole list. They had a whole list of Middle Eastern countries they were going to hit. None of them had central banking systems, as in Rothschild banking systems. Rothschild is in the United Kingdom. I heard a British analyst last night said the UK is really the little sister, or the stepchild to the United States. The UK does, the United Kingdom does whatever the United States does. I don't think so. As an American, I don't think so. I don't know if it's Israel. I call it the unholy trinity. I don't know if it's Israel controlling the UK and America. I don't think it is, because the Rothschilds that funded the creation of the state of Israel with paid for all their federal buildings and government buildings. They're the ones that drafted the proposal that Israel be in the Middle East, because Israel had a lot of options. It could have been in South America, it could have been in Africa. They had a lot of options on the table. And the Rothschild family, they all funded and kind of pushed for the Middle East. And the reason is the Rothschilds don't have centralized banks there, okay? So I don't believe for a second the UK is subservient to the United States. Yeah, we're stronger. That's not a question. We'll roll over the UK militarily in a week or two. Maybe less time. Okay? Yeah, we're stronger militarily. But I think it's the UK that, since the creation in the colonies of the United States of America, has controlled the United States of America. And you can look at our court systems. You can look at our lawyers. The bar exam for our lawyers, who then rise up to become our judges, and now they're in charge of an entire 1/3 of the power of the government, right? And that all comes from England. The law we follow, that police officers follow, that's a maritime law, and that all comes from England, which eventually tracks back to the East India Trading Company. I mean, you can focus. So, when I say that the point, the hit, is the Epstein files, it's because it implicates a global cabal. And it will bring down the United Kingdom, Israel, and America. Now, here's the thing with Israel. I am going to get sidetracked to Israel for a moment. These fires, look up fires in Argentina right now. There are people coming out and saying that it is Israeli tourists and Israeli dual citizens that are starting these fires, and then they're buying up the land. I watched a video of an Argentinian woman in tears and saying, why are they burning our land? They're buying our land. They're stealing our land. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like maybe something Israel has done somewhere else? Does that? Focus. Do you remember, maybe, was it 2 months ago, when Trump offered or gave $30 billion to the Argentinian president or prime minister or whatever? I'm not familiar with their politics, but it was like a $30 million bailout, and Trump's like, oh, this is so important, this is a big deal. And I can't remember, I think I remember the Argentinian guy pissed Trump off like 3 weeks later, and Trump took the money back or didn't give it, or maybe he did and just said he did. I don't fucking know, dude. But I remember I sent Netanyahu a message on his 2 official channels, and I was like, that's really smart, dude, because Trump gave him that $30 billion, the Argentinian president, after Netanyahu met with him. And I thought to myself, who else has Argentina in their history? Who else have they housed? Oh, it was all the Nazis. They have entire German Nazi communities in Argentina, okay? Entire communities. Which we also have communities in America that is specific to Hasidic Jews. Only Hasidic Jews can be there. And they don't work. They completely live off the welfare system in America. Now, Israel's interesting because it has a secret relationship with Russia, kind of like Trump. But Israel's interesting because, if you've noticed, Trump has been pulling away from a little bit from Israel and making deals with, like, the Arab, certain Arab interests. Well, this isn't a big deal because Israel is cool with Russia. And Russia, remember when we said, oh, Israel's a dispersed people and We have to figure out where to put them. So, oh yeah, let's put the Middle East. That's cool. You choose that over Africa? Okay. You choose that over South America? Okay. You can go be in the Middle East. They already had, Russia had already, I don't remember if it was post-Holocaust or pre-Holocaust, but Russia already had a region, like a small country-size place that they had given to Jews in Europe. And Jews were always welcome there. This preceded the state of Israel. So it's not like Jews don't have a place to go. They've always had several places. But now they're even buying up more land in Argentina so they can snuggle right real close with the Nazi communities there. Okay? You see in the dots, everything is smoke and mirrors. These people are not enemies. None of them are. They just don't care about the people dying in the conflicts or starving or being genocided. What they all have in common is they don't care about their people because they don't view themselves. And I'm not just talking about Israel. I'm talking about the UK, America, Russia, China, all of them. They don't view themselves according to nationality. They're global figures. And they work together. And they will always have a place to run to when the people come calling. So the Epstein files are critical. If you're afraid, if you don't like the idea of empires and you don't like how things are going and we're going to have to rebuild, we're going to have to restructure, we're going to have to figure problems out, okay, but you really don't want chaos, you really don't want us to become a third world nation while China or Russia becomes, something. Rest assured, these people are rats. And they have no loyalty to the people in which they've stolen their wealth from. It's not... The only people that are expendable are us. So this isn't about the Western Hemisphere beating the Eastern Hemisphere. This isn't about America and Israel and UK. We all have to beat Russia and China and Iran. None of this matters. Bring them the fuck down. The only thing that matters is releasing the Epstein files. Getting unredacted Epstein files. Because this is a global thing. Is Israel only in America? It's a global thing. This is a global strategy. This isn't about one side winning and another side losing. This isn't about capitalism, which we don't have in America. We have an oligarchy. It's not about communism. No, Marx was not clever. He was a fucking Jew. Dude, it's not about the bullshit. This is big. Release the Epstein files. This is the only thing the people, at least in America, this is the only thing the people can do to really hurt the empire. And I don't just mean our empire, I mean the ruling classes controlled over the globe. Release the Epstein files. This is all that matters. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for listening. If you have questions, feel free to ask. If I have the answer, I'll share it. If I don't, I'll look into it. Just focus. It's easy to get distracted. Listen to me. Listen to my video. Are you still with me? It's easy to get distracted. Focus. What we can influence is the Epstein files and the release of the Epstein files. And what happens after that? Why do you think the billionaires invested in bunkers? Because that's what happens next. Focus. Next time, travelers.